Okay guys, so we got the new version of this thing built, the version 5. Let me pull this version 4 off and I'll show you what happened and what the new one is. So here we have the version 4, and this thing is still functional, but it has a problem. So we have these larger sand channels on here, here and down below, and the idea behind that was to try to get all the sand out of this when going through loose sand. But as it turns out, operating this thing in loose sand that's bumpy works just fine. If you're just driving around in loose sand and you're bumping around and vibrating, no big deal, works perfect. If you're driving on wet sand or pavement or concrete or anything like that, then again, not an issue. My problem is happening when I transition from the dry sand to the wet, because when you do that on the wet sand, the vehicle doesn't vibrate as much, so that sand gets stuck in the channel, and when it gets stuck in the channel, then it becomes kind of locked up. You can almost hear it, but that's my movement right there, and I have to work at it a little bit to get it to free up. And if the car was running on, if it was running and vibrating, bouncing around, then the sand channels would work and all that sand would drop out and it wouldn't be an issue. So that's what happened with the version 4. And then of course that locking up caused strain on the servo. And let's see if I can show you. Basically the mounting point to the servo, there's not a lot there. There's like 5 millimeters of material. So the servo came loose. So we're going to fix that as well. So on the new version, version 5, this is our new channel. We are going to use stainless steel 3 millimeter rods with the stainless steel bearings on the inside, and this component goes inside the plastic housing right here. So I'll show you that here in just a second. But as you can see, that channel is hollow all the way through. The idea being that any sand that gets on there will easily drop through. Won't be an issue at all. And then I went in here and I sanded this thing as best I could to make it as smooth as possible. Alright, so we got everything freed up on the V4. Let me pull this out and show y'all. And even now it's still sticking. That sand is just... the sand's a monster. Yeah, and that's my problem right there. If I was running this thing on if I was running this thing anywhere else, if I was running it on asphalt or concrete or pavement or a dirt road somewhere, this wouldn't be an issue. But on sand, it is a monster. There we go. Or it'll. Yep. We can see the wear down inside there. And, I mean, for the most part, of course I've been moving around, it looks decent, but we still have a lot of contact surface area here. So, that sand gets in there and gums up the works, and those balls don't want to move. This is interesting. So, some of these balls have a lot more wear than the others. And I bet if you were to look at them, the 5 that have the most wear are going to be the 5 that were on the top of this component. So on the new rig, on the new version, those balls are only touching a very small surface area on each rod. And there's a lot more space for that sand to fall through there. So it should be much, much better over time. Here we see the business end of these components installed in the mount here. And we got plenty of room in the bottom for that sand to fall out. Hopefully there's going to be very little resistance to any sand getting through this one, and it shouldn't be an issue. And if I can pull this off real quick, you can see how these things are fitting in here. And I tried to get them as tight as possible to protect them as much as I can to, you know, avoid getting that sand in there. But then you look at all, any sand that gets in this point will hit that groove and fall down or go around and slide right out as well. Let's get it all screwed together. The other thing that we fixed on this version 5 is this small servo mount point, the real narrow mounting point that you see right here. So that's what these additional holes are for. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. And this component fits inside there. Well, fits in there just like that. And along with giving you more area to thread into, it also has a bit of a boss on one side to apply pressure to the servo to give you more support on that servo. This is what it looks like. So we got those screwed all the way in, going through not only the gray housing but into the purple right there as well. And then we have that applying pressure. When I put the other one in, it's going to put a lot of pressure. It's going to hold that servo rock solid. Doesn't matter what it's doing, it's not going to be moving. Alright guys, there it is, fully assembled. About to go put it in the car. Ready to go. We got our servo, additional supports right there. We run this whole thing on the stainless steel rods, stainless steel bearings. We give it a shot. Now guys, I know some of y'all are really wanting this design, but until I get it where it's suitable for my application, I'm not going to release all the drawings. But as soon as I do get it where it's suitable for what I'm doing, I'll release everything. Downside is you got to wait a little bit longer. Upside is if it's working for what I'm doing, chances are really good it'll work in any vehicle you got in any condition you're doing. So, alright, let's get it installed. Alright guys, we got it mounted. Now we just got to take it out there and run it. We got good, smooth movement. You just got to go out there and see how well it works, especially on that transition. Soft to hard sand and back and forth. And if it works good, then this will be the version that I put online.